Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see, right? I thought I would come in and give you an update because I am doing really well and things have changed. So I would like to tell you where I am and what's going on. Last time we talked, well, let me give you my little spiel for anybody who might be new here. If you're new, hi, welcome. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is a weight loss surgery, in October of 2016, which is almost 5 years ago, like 4.5 years ago at this point. My high weight, starting weight day of surgery was 265, although right before that I did see like 269. I'm 5'8". At the time I was 29 years old. I'm now almost 35. And I had the surgery in Morristown, New Jersey at Morristown Medical Center because I was living in New Jersey at the time. I now live in New Orleans, where I'm from, and it's been a crazy 4.5 years. So if I will post a link below to a video that shows like my 4-year recap that kind of fills you in on how I got to this point. But in that first like year and a half, I lost 100 pounds. I got to my goal weight. And in the subsequent years, I had a lot of like personal successes, life victories. I did an Ironman, I got a really great promotion, I was able to move back home, but I also gained like 12 to 15 pounds each year in the subsequent years, which if you think about it is only like 1 or 2 pounds a month. But that put me at like 40 to 50 pounds of regain by the time we got to the point where I decided I really needed to start addressing my regain, which was a couple of months ago this year, early 2021, we'll say. So I'll put a couple links below. That is the very, very brief version. I'll put a couple links below to the videos that will give you a better picture of the story. But thanks so much for watching. So the last time we talked, I believe it was March. Now it's June. When we talked in March, I had, so to address my regain, I did 2 things. I started going to therapy, which honestly, I wish I had done from day one, pre-op, pre-weight loss surgery, or at least since I had weight loss surgery. But I waited 4 years post-weight loss surgery to begin that process, and I really should have done it a long time ago, but I'm so glad I did. It has been monumental in my journey, like just a really, really fantastic help. And I cannot stress enough to everyone out there who has ears, who is listening, go to therapy. Whether you feel like you're in a dark and negative, terrible place, or you think like you were on top of the world, you were killing it, or you feel like you're somewhere in between, having a good therapist can only help. And my therapist has been fantastic just in helping me think things through. I very much from day one told her, I don't want somebody who's just going to be like, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? I'm like, that could be a plant. You know, I want somebody who's going to like give me feedback and help me. And she very much has. She gives me different perspectives on things when I am sometimes a little tunnel visioned on my perspective in life. So she has been absolutely fantastic. Therapy has been life-changing for me. So the first thing I did was start therapy. The second thing I did, at the recommendation of my gynecologist who was concerned about my regain, was see an obesity specialist medicine doctor, which I was very hesitant about because I knew that meant weight loss medicine, which I was very hesitant about. I don't know. So that doctor, I don't love her. And in fact, I will tell you why in just a moment. I'm thinking about getting a different doctor. I don't vibe with this lady, but I'm sticking it out for now. Anyway, the very first month she put me on a craving suppressant type medication. That was that very first video I told you guys about. And it was diethylopropion. After a month, she decided I wasn't losing weight quickly enough, and she took me off of that and put me on Topamax, also called topamurate. And that's the one I was on the last time you and I talked. So that one is an appetite suppressant, not a craving suppressant. And the reason she put me on that one is because it's like specifically helpful with nighttime snacking, which, very long story, very, very short. I follow a keto, low carb diet that is super easy for me. I don't even think about rice, pasta, bread anymore. Like that has long been gone from my diet. That's just not the sort of thing that I eat. However, I have had fallen into the trap of just eating too much, eating when I wasn't hungry, eating out of stress, eating out of boredom, eating instead of having emotions, which is where like the therapy has come in. Anyway, so the Topamax was supposed to help me address the nighttime eating. And I should say that the only reason I accepted medication at all was because in my mind, the medication is like a stopgap measure while I address the actual problem in therapy, the actual root cause of my emotional eating, which is a long and profound thing and might take months or years to work through. But in the meantime, I need to not keep gaining weight. So the medication, from my perspective, is a stopgap measure, not a fix. The therapy is what I expect will be a long-term resolution to my relationship with the way that I use food. So I was on Topamax for a month when I talked to you guys last, and I told you I didn't like the side effects. It made me very, very, very foggy brained. I was taking one in the morning and one in the evening per my doctor's recommendations, and I could barely get any work done. I work in data analysis. I look at large data sets all day and am supposed to make some sense of them and like find interesting patterns in the data. I was useless at my job for a while. I was like getting by doing the bare minimum, and this made me feel very sad. Also, like I just couldn't comprehend things that were new. I couldn't remember things that were recent. It was really rough. And so I reached back out to my doctor because she wanted me to take it for 3 months before checking back in with her. So after that first month, I felt like I had given it enough time to like work its way through my system. After that first month, I reached out to her and I was like, I can't live like this. I can't live like this. And she was like, hey, okay, why not take both of them in the evening instead of one in the morning, one at night? And that made a world of difference, like so much better. Incredible. I really wish I hadn't like wasted that month of my life, but oh well, that was March. So going into April, I felt like I had this like renewed sense of hope about life. Suddenly I could think again. It was like this fog had been lifted. And in terms of like the appetite suppression, was it working? Kind of. I mean, I also just felt like reinvigorated, remotivated. Can I attribute that exclusively to the medication? I don't think so. Maybe, partially, no, not exclusively to the medication, no. I do attribute a lot of the progress that I've made to the therapy, but I also don't want to discredit the medication because I do think it's helping. So anyway, going into April, I was like, this is great. I have no plans, nothing on my calendar until the end of May. The Memorial Day weekend, we were planning to go to the beach with my husband's family. So I was like, I have all of April, all of May to like buckle down and really focus and like do this thing right. Because if you recall, in February and March, I was kind of traveling a lot. My husband and I road tripped to the Grand Canyon, visited friends. So it was tough to really be precise about what I was doing. And if you know me at all, you know I prefer precision. What is this hair? Sorry. So anyway, I was really, really excited that I was going to make a plan. And I said to myself, when I was training for my Ironman, I trained 6 days a week. See, that's the other thing. Before that, like January, February, March, I was going to the gym maybe like 2 to 3 days a week, which is fine, but I knew I could do more. I just wasn't motivated, wasn't in the right headspace. I just wasn't, things hadn't come together for me. So I was like, look, April and May, just 2 months, not a full Ironman training. Full Ironman training for me was like 9 months, if you guys recall, but really a solid 4 months. If you're interested in that, I will post the links to those videos below as well. I'm just gonna give it 2 months of exercising 6 days a week because I can do that, and eating properly, like actually tracking my macros and like staying super on point. I was like so excited. I like made this little calendar, and if you follow me on Instagram, link below, I like started tracking all my workouts and blah, blah, blah. And I told my therapist about this, and she was like, whoa, pump the brakes. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, okay, great that you're excited. Great that you're in a good headspace. That's awesome. You're clearly happy. That's great. But, so like you're clearly very happy when everything is like strict and tight and like under your control and you're like eating super precisely. You're clearly also very happy when you're on vacation and you're like full on foodie mode, eating all the new and exotic and different things. True. She's like, what about the in-between? Like, well, that's when I'm miserable. She's like, yeah, that's when you're miserable. And guess what? Life is mostly the in-betweens, you know? Yes, right now you have a period of 2 months that you're not doing anything. You're just going to be home. But life isn't going to be like that. And as you know, usually isn't. So great for you to enjoy this one. Great for you to enjoy that one. But what if we get you comfortable with this in-between as well? And I'm like, no, that sounds terrible, because the in-between, to me, the in-between is like when I'm not really working out, or I'm only working out sometimes, or when I'm not really tracking my food and I'm not really eating properly, or only sometimes. And like that just doesn't sound good at all. And I'm also like not on vacation. I'm not having super fun times. Like there's no reason for that. So I don't want that. I don't want to be okay with that. I want to be either super strict or super fun vacation mode. I don't want this in between. And so we had a lot of long talks, and are still in long talks, about what this in between looks like and learning to embrace it. Because the reality is that life is the in betweens. And anyway, so what happened was she planted the seed, and I started thinking about it and kind of pulling it apart and digesting it, you know. And in April, I did buckle down, and I did hit my macros, and I did work out 6 days a week the entire month. It was great. I felt awesome. I was sleeping well. I was full of energy. It was great. And then in May, surprise, I didn't have the full month as I had thought I was going to have. I ended up taking my mom for a surprise trip to Disney World for Mother's Day. And then my cousin was in Houston the week after that. And then the week after that was Memorial Day at the beach. So like only the first week of May was like normal. And then the next 3 weeks were abnormal. So I didn't end up having the full month of May. And so May ended up being kind of an in-between month. It was a really good, like, pushing you off the deep end kind of test. And I did great. I was in a really good headspace. And I think it was because I had built this momentum from April, where even while I was traveling, I wasn't tracking my macros because I was traveling and I couldn't, but I was able to like have fun without eating all the crazy things, but still like enjoying things, you know what I mean? And not feeling terrible for having done so. So as an example, we went to Epcot for a weekend. This was my mom's Mother's Day gift. And I mostly ate bunless burgers, ribs. You know, we like ate at the restaurants, but also there was like, it was a not the food and wine festival, flower festival. And there was like a honey stand, and I love everything like honey flavored. And I had, we shared a honey cheesecake slice, and I had like a couple bites of it, and it was delicious, and it was so worth it, and I enjoyed it. And that was still like part of this like fun adventure. I didn't feel like I was missing out. And then I also didn't feel terrible for having eaten it, you know? And like that, the whole weekend, and then the subsequent week in Houston, and then the subsequent week at the beach was like that, you know? Most of the time I made really good choices, but I did also allow myself to like partake in the fun so that I didn't feel like I was missing out. And then I didn't feel bad about having done that. And I had a loss on the scale for the month, which was great. So I felt really, really good about that. So May ended and I had completed my 3 months on this medication. So I went back to my doctor. She put me on the scale. She puts me on an InBody, which not only measures your weight, but it also measures your muscle mass and your, not your bone density, it's not a DEXA, but your muscle mass and I guess your water, whatever. And it tells you what your base metabolic rate is. It tells you how many calories you're burning a day. And over those 3 months, I had lost 3 pounds. And I was like, yeah, I have a loss. And she was like, not fast enough. I was like, what do you mean not fast enough? You know, like I'm losing weight, I'm moving in the right direction. Like it's not a race, it's a marathon. And like weight loss that is going to be sustained needs to be slow and gradual, da 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 da. I'll give you numbers. So the InBody test determined that my base metabolic rate is 1658. That means at rest, I burn 1,658 calories per day. I was eating 1,500 calories a day. So my deficit was very small, which is why I was losing very slowly. I think that's sustainable. I think it's fine. I think 1,500 calories is low, but acceptable for a grown-ass adult woman. And here's where I feel like I just don't love this doctor. Maybe I'll find myself a new one. I don't know. Still feeling it out, but she wants me on 1,200 calories. And I feel like 1,200 calories is too low for any adult ever, unless you are very, very, very small. I'm 5'8". I weigh over 200 pounds. I'm not very small. And I told her that, honestly. And what she said to me was that after weight loss surgery, our metabolisms just work differently, and that in order to repair it, I need to be in a bigger deficit. And also, and I just don't buy that, you know, like it clearly didn't click with me. And also that like I'm very overweight, according to her, and I need to get this weight off, plain and simple. Okay. So she kept me on the Topamax and added phentermine. And I was like, oh no, like phentermine is like the bad word. I don't know. I feel like there's so many negative stigmas surrounding phentermine as a weight loss medication. You know, it was combined with some other weight loss medication in like the 80s and 90s. People had really negative side effects. Man, I don't know. I was so hesitant about it. And so I asked her a lot of questions and she put me on like the lowest dose. It's like half of a pill. I literally have to cut it in the mornings every day. And I take half of a phentermine in the morning and my 2 Topamax in the evenings. And she also, the thing that convinced me to take it was that this was going to help balance out the negative side effects of the Topamax. The chemical structure of phentermine is similar to that of Adderall. It is a stimulant, it gives you energy, and it helps you focus, which is like the opposite of what the Topamax does with the brain fog. And I was like, okay, focus sounds good. So I've been taking it and I feel so good, you guys. We're almost at the end of June and this month alone I've lost almost 10 pounds. Whereas the previous 3 months, I had only lost 3. So, you know, here we are. Oh, I did mean to say that maybe the only downside of the phentermine so far is that I have changed my coffee from regular coffee to half decaf because I did feel like maybe it was giving me a little too much energy. A little too much. After a couple weeks on the phentermine, I was like, let's switch to the half decaf and see how I feel, and that has been a great improvement. Other than that, no negative reactions to the phentermine whatsoever. So in June, I again had nothing planned. So I'm back to my strict exercising 6 days a week, feeling great. For the most part, I have been able to stick to the 1,200 calories, which I didn't think I'd be able to do, but it actually hasn't been that bad. Now here's the thing, I'm being very, very mindful of my hunger cues. Because I work out so much, sometimes I'm just hungry. And on those days, I allow myself to eat a little more. I keep it low carb. So like the same things I would be eating, I just eat a little bit more of those, but like a little bit more. Not, I don't go like all out. So I suspect on a lot of days I'm actually probably eating closer to 14 or 1500 calories. But a lot of days I am able to actually hit the 1200, which I didn't think was possible. So also last week I decided to take a week off from tracking and see how I did. And actually I gained like a third of a pound, so basically nothing, which was exciting because I mostly like eyeballed portions. I ate the same sort of things that I normally eat, and that was also like tiptoeing into this world of like the in-between, you know, not tracking strictly, but also not on like vacation fun mode, just like living in the in-between and just like testing the waters a little bit. And I felt fine. I didn't feel like stressed out about it. And I did okay. So I hope that makes sense, how I'm trying to like tie in the mind stuff together with like the tools that the medication gives me. And I don't know, I feel like I'm doing well, and I just want to roll with that, you know, for now. I did very much ask my doctor, what happens when I get to my goal weight? What's your plan then? Ma'am, like, am I going to be on these medications forever? She said no. She said she was going to like gradually increase my calories. She said she was going to gradually wean me off the medication. So I guess we'll see, but I'm a long way from there. I also asked her, like, what is my goal weight according to you? And she said that under 200 would be good, and I'm very close to that right now. But that because I had gotten down to 165 and lived in the 170s for like that first year after that, she thinks I can get back to the 170s. So we still got a long way to go. But for now, I feel great. And I don't want to like upset that. So I'm gonna keep doing what is working for me. I'm exercising a ton. I'm sleeping really well. I feel energized. I feel motivated. I'm in a good headspace. I feel like my relationship with food is really, really different from what it was before. And I don't have any travels or like weird things happening in life until the end of July. So I've got another month to keep riding this wave, and I guess we'll see how it goes. But I thought I would give you an update. I thought you might be interested to know that the brain fog it's gone basically. Well, not 100% gone, but like 90% gone. And I feel so much better than where I was. So thanks for keeping up with me. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.